The Improbable Ape, a journey through the astronomical odds of human existence, by Rob Corley. Written and produced by Rob Corley. The Miracle of You. Take a breath. Let it go. Do it again, slower. Feel it. Feel that odd pulse in your chest, the buzz in your fingers, the noise behind your eyes. You are listening to these words right now. This simple fact, this mundane reality of your consciousness, me processing symbols on a page into audio for your ears, and you interpreting it, represents the endpoint of a chain of improbabilities so vast they defy comprehension. The specific arrangement of atoms that constitutes your body, the particular configuration of neurons that forms your mind, the exact genetic code that makes you uniquely you, all of these had to align in precisely the way they did for you to exist at all. You are not just improbable, you are nearly impossible, and yet, here you are. Let me tell you the most improbable story I know. It's yours. The race that made you. Your journey toward existence began with a race. Not the kind you might run in school or watch on television, but a microscopic sprint involving hundreds of millions of competitors, all striving toward a single goal. Against all odds, one specific participant would determine your existence. Picture this. Somewhere in your father's body, in the coiled tubes of his testes, millions of sperm cells were being manufactured. Each one carried half of his genetic material, but, and this is crucial, each carried a different half. The process of meiosis, which creates sperm cells, shuffles the genetic deck like a cosmic dealer preparing for the highest stakes game ever played. The average human ejaculation contains between 40 million and 500 million sperm cells, with most estimates placing the number around 100 million. To put this in perspective, that's roughly the population of Mexico, all racing toward a target the size of a period at the end of this sentence. Meanwhile, your mother's body held a different kind of treasure. Unlike sperm, which are produced continuously throughout a man's adult life, a woman is born with all the eggs she will ever have, about 1 to 2 million of them. By puberty, only about 300,000 to 400,000 remain. Over the course of her reproductive lifetime, only about 400 to 500 will ever be released during ovulation. The specific egg that contained half of your genetic material waited for its moment. Perhaps it was released during your mother's 157th menstrual cycle, or her 86th, or her 212th. Had it been a different cycle, a different egg would have been released, carrying different genetic material, and you, the specific you reading these words, would never have existed. Now imagine the moment of your conception. Of the roughly 100 million sperm released during the sexual encounter that led to your existence, only about 200 ever made it to the vicinity of the egg. The rest were lost along the way, victims of the hostile environment of the vaginal canal, the cervix, the uterus, and the fallopian tubes. Those 200 survivors, 0.0002% of the original army, competed for the chance to fertilize the egg. And one specific sperm, the one carrying the exact combination of your father's genes that would combine with your mother's to form you, won that race. The probability of that specific sperm fertilizing that specific egg, approximately 1 in 100 million. But this is just the beginning of the improbability that is you. The genetic lottery. When that winning sperm met that particular egg, they combined their genetic material to form a zygote, the first cell of what would become you. Each contributed 23 chromosomes for a total of 46, the full human complement. But the specific combination of those chromosomes represents another layer of improbability that would make a Las Vegas casino owner weep with envy. During meiosis, the process that creates eggs and sperm, chromosomes exchange genetic material in a process called crossing over or recombination. Picture 2 decks of cards being shuffled together, but instead of 52 cards, each deck contains billions of genetic instructions. This shuffling ensures genetic diversity and means that the genetic material in each egg and each sperm is not just a random selection of whole chromosomes from the parent, but a reshuffled mix of genetic material from both of the parents' chromosomes. The mathematics here are staggering. With 23 chromosomes, each of which could come from either the mother's mother or mother's father, and similarly for the father's contribution, there are 2 to the 23rd power, over 8 million, possible combinations from each parent. Combined, that's 2 to the 46th power, or about 70 trillion possible genetic combinations that could have resulted from your parents. 70 trillion! That's more than the number of cells in your body. It's more than the number of dollars in the global economy. It's a number so large that if you started counting at the moment of the Big Bang and counted one number every second, you still wouldn't have reached it by now. And that's just considering which chromosomes you got from which grandparent. When we factor in the recombination events that shuffle genes within those chromosomes, the number of possible genetic combinations becomes effectively infinite. You are the result of one specific combination out of those trillions upon trillions of possibilities. This is why siblings, despite sharing the same parents, can be so different. On average, siblings share about 50% of their DNA. The other 50% represents different combinations of the parents' genes, different results from the genetic lottery. Your brother or sister is not a slightly different version of you. They are an entirely different person who happen to emerge from the same genetic pool. If your parents had conceived a child at a different time, even seconds later, a different sperm would have fertilized the egg, or a different egg would have been in position to be fertilized. The resulting child would have been your sibling, not you. They might have looked similar, might have shared many of your traits, but they would not have been you. You exist because of a specific sperm, a specific egg, and a specific moment in time. Change any of these variables and you would never have come into being. The ancestral gauntlet. But the improbability of your existence extends far beyond your conception. It reaches back through generations, through centuries, through millennia, like a chain of miracles stretching back to the dawn of our species. Consider your parents. Each of them is the result of their own improbable conception, their own 1 in trillions genetic lottery. For you to exist, both of them had to exist first, and they had to meet. Out of all the billions of people on Earth, these 2 specific individuals had to cross paths, form a relationship, and decide to have children together. What are the odds of that happening? The calculation involves factors like geography, culture, socioeconomic status, timing, and pure chance. Your father might have been born in a different city, chosen a different career, missed the bus on the day he met your mother. Your mother might have moved to a different country, married someone else, decided not to have children. The probability that these 2 specific people would meet and reproduce is vanishingly small. Now extend this thinking to your grandparents. You have 4 of them. Each is the result of their own improbable conception. Each pair had to meet and reproduce to create your parents. The improbability compounds like interest in a cosmic savings account. Go back another generation. 8 great-grandparents, each the result of an improbable conception, each pair needing to meet and reproduce. Another generation. 16 great-great-grandparents. The pattern continues, with the number of ancestors doubling each generation. 5 generations back, you have 32 ancestors. 10 generations, 1,024 ancestors. 15 generations, 32,768 ancestors. By the time we reach 30 generations, roughly 900 years, assuming an average of 30 years per generation, the math tells us you should have over 1 billion direct ancestors. But here we encounter a paradox. 30 generations ago, the world population was only about 300 million. How can you have more ancestors than there were people alive? The answer lies in a phenomenon called pedigree collapse. As we trace our ancestry back through time, we inevitably find the same individuals appearing in multiple places on our family tree. Your mother's great-great-grandmother might also be your father's great-great-great-grandmother. This doesn't mean close relatives were reproducing. It simply reflects the mathematical reality that, given enough generations, everyone is related to everyone else. Pedigree collapse reduces the number of unique ancestors you have, but it doesn't diminish the improbability of your existence. Each of those ancestors, whether unique or appearing multiple times in your family tree, still had to exist and reproduce for you to be here. And each link in that ancestral chain represents another layer of improbability. Each of your ancestors had to survive to reproductive age in times when early death was common. They had to find a mate in times when choice was often limited. They had to successfully reproduce in times when childbirth was dangerous and infant mortality high. They had to survive wars, plagues, famines, and natural disasters. Break any link in that chain, any one of those thousands upon thousands of ancestors fails to reproduce, and you would not exist. The mathematics of impossibility. Let's put these improbabilities together to calculate just how unlikely your existence truly is. Fair warning, the numbers we're about to encounter will make your head spin. First, the probability of that specific sperm fertilizing that specific egg, approximately 1 in 100 million. Next, the probability of that specific genetic combination from your parents, approximately 1 in 70 trillion. Then, the probability of your parents meeting and reproducing. Let's conservatively estimate 1 in 1 million. Now, the probability of each of your ancestors existing and reproducing. If we consider just 30 generations and assign a very conservative probability of 1 in 1,000 for each ancestral pairing, accounting for pedigree collapse, we get a probability of 1 in 1,000 raised to the 30th power, or approximately 1 in 10 to the 90th. Combining these probabilities, we get a number so small it's effectively zero. The probability of your specific existence is roughly 1 in 10 to the 100th power. That's a 1 followed by 100 zeros. To put this in perspective, there are estimated to be about 10 to the 80th power atoms in the observable universe. The probability of your existence is roughly equivalent to selecting a specific atom out of all the atoms in a billion universes. But wait, it gets more extraordinary. These calculations, as mind-boggling as they are, actually understate the improbability of your existence. They don't account for all the cosmic improbabilities that had to align for any life to exist at all. The formation of our planet in the habitable zone of our star, the emergence of life from non-life, the evolution of complex organisms, the development of our species. When we factor in these additional layers of improbability, the odds against your existence become so astronomical that they defy any meaningful comparison. They approach the truly infinite. The consciousness lottery. Beyond the physical improbability of your existence lies another layer of wonder, the emergence of your specific consciousness. The particular arrangement of neurons in your brain, shaped by both genetics and experience, has given rise to a subjective experience of the world that is uniquely yours. Neuroscientists estimate that the human brain contains approximately 86 billion neurons, each forming up to 10,000 synaptic connections with other neurons. This creates a network of staggering complexity, roughly 100 trillion connections, more than the number of stars in our galaxy. The specific pattern of these connections in your brain is what makes you you. It shapes your thoughts, your memories, your personality, your very sense of self. And this pattern is the result of both your genetic inheritance and your lived experience. Every book you've read, every conversation you've had, every moment of joy or sorrow you've experienced. The probability of this exact neural configuration arising is incalculable. It's not just astronomically unlikely, it's unique in the universe. No one else has ever had, or will ever have, the exact subjective experience of existence that you have. You are not just a statistical miracle in terms of your physical existence. You are a miracle of consciousness, a unique perspective on the universe that has never existed before and will never exist again. The paradox of existence. This is the paradox at the heart of our existence. Each of us is a statistical impossibility. Each of us represents the endpoint of a chain of events so unlikely that they should never have occurred. And yet, each of us exists. The philosopher Nick Bostrom has suggested that this paradox is resolved by what he calls the self-sampling assumption. This principle states that we should reason as if we were randomly selected from the set of all possible observers. In other words, someone had to win the cosmic lottery of existence, and we are the winners, observing the world from our privileged position of actually existing. But this philosophical resolution doesn't diminish the wonder of our existence. It doesn't make the mathematics any less staggering. It doesn't change the fact that you, the specific consciousness reading these words, are the product of a chain of improbabilities so vast that they approach the impossible. You are a miracle. Not in the supernatural sense, but in the sense that your existence defies the overwhelming mathematical odds against it. You are the winner of the greatest lottery ever held, with odds so long that calling them astronomical would be an understatement. The next time you look in the mirror, remember this. The person looking back at you represents the end point of a chain of improbabilities stretching back to the beginning of life on Earth. Every feature, every trait, every thought, every memory, all of these are the result of a specific genetic combination that had virtually zero chance of occurring. The prize. So you won the lottery. What's the prize? What kind of universe did you just inherit? To answer that, we have to pull back, way out to the very fabric of reality itself. Because your improbable existence didn't happen in just any universe. It happened in this one, a cosmos so exquisitely, absurdly fine-tuned for life that it makes your personal lottery win look like a sure bet. The universe you've inherited is one where the fundamental constants of physics are calibrated with impossible precision, where matter and energy dance to mathematical laws that allow complexity to emerge from simplicity, where stars can form and burn steadily for billions of years, cooking the heavy elements that make planets and people possible. You've won the right to exist in a universe that not only permits life, but seems almost designed to create it. A universe where the strong nuclear force is just strong enough to hold atomic nuclei together, but not so strong that hydrogen would have fused into heavier elements immediately after the Big Bang. Where the electromagnetic force is precisely calibrated to allow chemical bonds to form, but not so strong that electrons would spiral into atomic nuclei. You've inherited a cosmos where the expansion rate is neither too fast nor too slow, where galaxies can form and persist, where stars have time to live and die and seed space with the elements of life. A universe where the cosmological constant, the mysterious force driving cosmic acceleration, is so close to zero that it's almost as if someone was trying to make the universe as hospitable to life as possible. This is your prize. Existence in a universe that won its own lottery, a cosmos that beat odds so astronomical that they make your personal improbability seem almost reasonable by comparison. But that's just the beginning. Because this fine-tuned universe didn't just create any old planet for you to inhabit, it created Earth, a world so perfectly positioned, so exquisitely protected, so ideally suited for life, that it represents another layer of cosmic good fortune. You've inherited a planet in the Goldilocks zone of a remarkably stable star, protected by a magnetic field and a massive moon, shielded by giant planets that sweep up cosmic debris, wrapped in an atmosphere that's neither too thick nor too thin. A world that has survived multiple mass extinctions, each of which could have ended your ancestral line before it began. This is what you've won. Not just existence, but existence in the most improbable place imaginable. A universe fine-tuned for life, containing a galaxy suitable for complex chemistry, harboring a star system with a habitable planet, on which evolution has produced a species capable of contemplating its own existence. You are the universe becoming aware of itself. You are 13.8 billion years of cosmic evolution opening its eyes and looking around in wonder. So what do you do with a prize like that?